So, one thing I do differently because of my own healing journey, what I've recognized a huge part of my own healing has been is getting in alignment and clear about what my values are. Consciously choosing what of those values did I inherit and don't really belong to me? What was I absorbing? What had I ascribed or identified with that wasn't really me? And so, and my healing has been identifying what those true values are, who my true self is, being in constant, seeking and pursuit of that personal wisdom about myself. And if I know myself so deeply, then to me, what that is living in integrity. It has everything to do with my intuition. It has everything to do with integrity is the word for that. Really, like to identify your values and live in alignment with your values is integrity for me. And I think people can feel it when we're really in integrity and when we're not. And it has become an ethos and a truism in my life that this is the way to live and this is the way to heal. And it's not the way that every therapist might guide their clients. But for me, it really is about this is where the piece of consciousness and higher consciousness and like super consciousness really comes into my work because I don't just want to, um, eh, you know, solve a problem or give people the illusion of knowing themselves. I want them to deeply engage with life and deeply know who they are. And so everything that I do when I'm sitting with anyone, because my own truth and my own value system, being growth minded, being a seeker, being in pursuit of devotion to self, and true radical ownership and true radical responsibility are of my highest values personally. And so personally, because I've done the work to know that and will for the rest of my life, right? It's ever evolving and ever growing. But am always wanting to anchor that into the present moment and who I am. And that is how I want to guide people to do similar work, which is probably atypical or different from what many therapists might do, but it's such a personal motivation and such a personal value of mine that I can't separate myself from it. And this is where I really think like when people talk about balance or they talk about, different selves, it's like, to me, that has to be consistent to be in integrity. And so who I am in my work is really who I am. And I think people can feel that when they're experiencing it. And that's also who I am in my personal life and in any relationship that I have. And frankly, it's such a deep and personal and intimate relationship with a client, right? And so there's really not much more intimate than that in a special way. And so I have to be grounded in my own integrity and my value in that. And what I find is people that pursue me and want to do the work in the way that I do, because the way that I work is different than your typical therapist, is they are aligned with that value. They may not even consciously know it, but if they stay and they do the work, then this is what they are seeking in their life. And there is a shared value. And so I tend to attract people who are really driven in a similar way that I am. And they might be driven in this arena, but what they recognize is how you do anything is how you do everything. So they want their whole life to feel fulfilled in that way. So they're seekers, they're high achievers, they're driven, they're wired in ways that are organized around growth and being growth minded. And so they want to be excellent. They want to be impeccable. And so I can't really separate that. And if I tried to show up with somebody, if they were, didn't sense that integrity in me, then it wouldn't work. It would slip through everyone's fingers. Right. And so, it really is this devotion that I have to myself to be in integrity, always be true to myself. And in that way I can show up and guide people to do exactly the same. And sometimes they don't know that that's the thing that they were looking for. But I also think there's an energy and an attraction that, the people of certain, quality tend to find me, and they're the ones that want to work in this impeccable kind of seeking this excellence in their own life. And And so that is how that all connects.